Hey, everybody. Fancy. Look at me, fancy man. Being fancy about life. It is Tuesday. It is the Variant Edition streaming show. My name is Brandon. We are here, as always, to talk about the comics and the new releases and graphic novels that are coming out this week and last week for reasons. And we're going to talk a little bit about how it's been running shop during the Christmas season. Now, I've actually been seeing a lot of stores, publicly, privately, posting about the struggles of this year, especially for comic stores. Things have been rough, and when one of your main distributors is not sending product on time, that causes a big problem. We're going to talk about 3 comics right off the top that really should have been out on a more spread schedule, but due to the distributor in question, they all kind of like log jammed and causing a little bit of a kerfuffle. Hey. Weirdly not a haircut for the socials. I did some social videos. Hey, what's this? I see what you're doing here. Thanks, interstitial music. No, I didn't I didn't get it specifically. I knew I needed a haircut for sure. Happy birthday. What's going on here? What are we doing? Well, that happened, I guess. No, this one. Happy birthday to you. No. What are we up to? Why are we like this? No, stop it. Why are we like this? Play the playlist that I selected. The playlist I selected. Nope, that's not the playlist I selected. We're having fun here today. Play. Thank you. My God. There we go. Deep breaths. I have no idea where I was before everything went sideways. Yeah, so the coif. Fancy. Not intended specifically. It was like I needed it done and I had some time, so I got it done. Now, one of the reasons why I want to talk about running a small business during the Christmas chaos this week is because I was also on CBC again this week. They were doing a follow-up because in November they talked about the Canada Post strike and how it would affect business. And they're doing a follow-up on, now that Canada Post is coming back, what was being done in the interim, what was happening there. So if you're sleuths on the internet, you'll be able to find a CBC Edmonton feature of me. And apparently it aired nationally somehow because I had an old friend from my marching band days reach out to me in BC saying that he saw the segment happening. So that was pretty cool. But to kind of go over what ended up happening, as everybody knows, Canada Post went on strike, and it caused a little bit of chaos, as is the intent of strikes. You use the power of situation and bargaining to get yourself a better deal for a collective whole. And something that was pointed out to me during the course of this that I kept forgetting about, and I know a lot of people kept forgetting about, was the fact that Canada Post workers were actually going to do a rolling strike. They were going to keep product moving through. They were going to keep letters, packages moving through, albeit at probably a little bit of a slower pace, but nothing that would kind of cripple things. And Canada Post themselves locked them out. So when we're talking about what Canada Post workers did to the economy, no. It's what Canada Post tried to counter strike with in order to cause a situation that would force workers back to work after a certain amount of pressure on their end was put in place, which kind of defeats the purpose of our whole rights to be able to self-organize and all that kind of stuff. But it's the world we live in. So a lot of perception's been put on Canada Post workers. I completely understand little bits and pieces of it, but honestly, at the end of the day, they weren't intending to disrupt the holiday season. They were intended to put a little bit of pressure on to bargain for themselves for better deals, because things have been changing quite rapidly in the last few years, and people deserve raises. You know, good times. Yeah. Exactly. All right. No, not yet. So I was asked about a lot of that stuff, and how that affected my business, how things were going forward. We actually did discover some alternative shipping methods that ended up being fairly cost effective even during the strain. A lot of those methods ended up being stripped back as different companies had to put a pause because of the amount of volume that they were getting during the holiday season. I don't think a lot of that's going to change. I think a lot of things are going to be delayed. In fact, we do not have our new DC product yet, but I expect the product tomorrow morning, and hopefully I can get through things in time. I will try and endeavor to let folks know when our DC stuff arrives. And if it does arrive in the morning, to let them know, like, we'll have things ready and going that day, or if it'll be Thursday. We received last week's diamond product today, which means I don't know when we're going to receive this week's diamond product. So while there is a chunk of stuff that we ended up receiving, nobody, the States and Canada, etc., are really getting their diamond books on time right now. It is absolute chaos. And so in addition to the regular Christmas strain, we have sort of the extra strain that a postal strike has caused in terms of us getting product, and diamond absolutely being wild screw ups and blowing things up in some fun ways. This is a big thing here. I honestly think a lot of places like Canada Post, basic infrastructure to get messages to people to function and to run product to people. I don't think there should be people at the helm taking, and this is a true fact, the top person at Canada Post makes more money than the Prime Minister on paper. That shouldn't be right, I don't think. I think there's a different structure there to be had, and that's a little bit indicative of that. Pretty wild. Hours next week. All right. As usual, we're running through to Sunday with our regular hours. Monday, we're closed as regular. Tuesday, we're closed as regular. Wednesday, we are closed because it is Christmas. On Boxing Day, we will be open 11 until 5. That will be New Comic Book Day mostly. We'll see when product arrives. Again, it's been wild. The wild, wild west. Or, as Will Smith would say, wiki wiki wild, wild west. Jim West, desperado, don't want nada. None of this. Something like that. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, also regular hours. Running through. I will not be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Possibly Sunday. I'm not exactly sure how the hours line up, but yeah, I will be doing a little bit of a breaky. And I've offered young Mr. Gregory time off as well, should he so wish. And so far, no takers. So we'll see. I'm trying to do my best to be a good boss. But yeah, trying to balance everything out, keep things moving along. So yeah, it's been a little exhausting. Tuesdays, oftentimes I get here and get a little bit rambly, and I'm usually pretty rambly because I don't really have a plan when I do these. And that is something that is going to change here in the new year. There'll be a different shooting location, and I think a little bit of some different stylings going forward, and an earlier time, because I will be moving this production to the store in the new year. Got some plans. I need to work up the space and eventually make a nice little recording area. But it'll be in bits and pieces over 2025. It should be pretty good. All right. Well, I rambled somewhat incoherently about how it's tough at Christmas between just regular trying to exist, working retail during this holiday season, and in general, all the weird shipping stuff that has cascaded into late shipments from everyone, and Diamond really screwing up their warehousing situation and causing extra problems during this holiday season. It's exactly what we all wanted, right? I'm pretty sure. All right. So I realized as I'm going through this stack, I couldn't look up just this week's stuff because last week's stuff from Diamond, like I said, finally arrived. And we're gonna talk about some of it. We've got 3 titles from Distillery. And the first one is Warm Fusion. Distillery is a company I absolutely love because they're trying out different formatting than the norm. A lot of other companies have done this before, but this is their standard format, a magazine size, extra thick, more pages, for less than the price of getting 2 comics. You get more than 2 comics. In this package, you also get the nice spot gloss, the great product design, and amazing stories. Here we have Warm Fusion from writer Scott Hoffman of Scissor Sisters fame. is teaming up with Alberta Ponticelli, who has done a lot of different stuff for DC. They've worked with TKO doing Goodnight Paradise, which is actually one of my TM absolute favorites. It's basically a noir story about a houseless person who is trying to solve a murder, but because of their cognitive problems, it's a bit of a hard work. And it's this beautiful, hard story about basically a noir, solving a murder, but really bringing to the fore a lot of social problems as to why folks don't have resources. An amazing work. I love it so much. And Orc Island, which he did with Bad Idea, which in Edmonton you can only find at Variant Edition. We are the only store in Edmonton that can carry Bad Idea books. And we do still have handfuls of them. Orc Island is basically like, what if D&D had Judge Dredd flavors? And it's absolutely wonderful. Anyways, this is a sci-fi horror mystery that pushes the limits of the grotesque. New York City was 2 decades into the future. New York City, over 2 decades into the future, has been devastated by ongoing storms, radiation from a terrorist incident in Times Square, and the genetic mutations caused by a life-saving cure. After a series of murders rip through the city's brothels, an escort named Vin Young, who cosplays as Snow White, is one of the generation of deformed victims. And he decides to help find the killer or killers responsible, reluctantly joining forces with Jared Hanover, the lone cop assigned to the case. The two are led by a biotech megacorp launching a cellular metal called Warm Fusion, a pioneering technology meant to replace prosthetic limbs, and soon confront a sociopathic scientist, Nicholas Fletcher, whose monstrous alter ego, Mr. Barnaby, and his hideous monster that he's been secretly creating. So, a bit wide-ranging. And I have yet to read this, but I'm very excited to. Craig has paged through it and has offered some thoughts to me in the store. And I know he is going to read this. He is a Scissor Sisters fan. And yeah, words. I don't know. My brain's kind of like doing a bit of a wander today. It interested. This is pretty much what is happening. It is how it's going to go, honestly. Over on Instagram, I can't put this up, but young Mr. Gregory, we have a list of books that we mistype sometimes, and one of mine is, whenever I get in Conan, I have Konana, and so we have different riffs on different songs, such as why, oh why, Konana, and oh, we have no Konanas, we have no Konanas today. And Craig today found Konana, what's my name? Konana, what's my name? I'm probably doing that an injustice, but also that's what's coming up right now. This next one is deep in the cuckles of the holiday season. It is a holiday special. It is even a thicker boy than usual from the distillery people. It features a bevy of absolutely outstanding talent. It is the Christmas Yuletide offering, Through the Boughs. as we say here, venture deep into the endless drifts of snow, through evergreen tree lines, tinkling with hoarfrost and rime. And then venture many miles more, and then, maybe, possibly, improbably, you will see lights and dancing and mirth. You'll be asked to join, or maybe who or what you've found wants something far more mischievous than to sing and revel. Discover the delights and dangers in Through the Boughs, a Yuletide offering, a collecting of frozen tales brought to you by the most magical wordsmiths in and artisans in comics and beyond, including James Tynion IV, one of the biggest creators in comics today, Patrick McHale, who you might know from Over the Garden Wall and did work on Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Jim Campbell, also working on Over the Garden Wall, big for folks, honestly, that animated series. Jim Campbell, Janice Eckwall, Ryan Andrews, Sweeney Boo, Kay Wharton, Grim Wilkins, and Molly Mendoza. So it is a bit of an anthology. It has a beautiful wide range of stuff. I am extremely excited to share this with people. I know a lot of the people are looking forward to that Patrick McHale story, because that is a huge freaking deal, honestly. I cannot lie about that. And also, look at that beautiful cover. It is so gorgeous. I really like what Distillery puts out. I am fascinated to dig into what they have for a Christmas tale, because they always put their heart and soul into all of their offerings. And a little something to warm the heart this year is always going to be appreciated. And finally, for this batch of Distillery books, we have a huge launch from two creators that have done outstanding works, favorites of Variant Edition, James Tynion IV, Elsa Chetier, with colors by Jordi Belair and letters by Aditya Abidkar. That is an amazing creative team. It is a bloody love letter to New York City, the city beneath her feet, an action thriller love story for a new generation. Jasper Jane was the girl of Zara's dreams, but their brief relationship came and went in such an intense blaze that Zara was left thinking Jasper was just a dream. Years later, Zara is thrust back into Jasper's world, unknowingly listed as her emergency contact. Zara must piece together the mystery of Jasper's life, all while being hunted by assassins who once called Jasper one of their own. As always, we have a beautiful wraparound cover with the spot gloss and a lot of high quality creators, a lot of high quality content, and boy, am I excited to dig through this. Elsa Chetier, one of my absolute favorite TM creators, who did the series November with Matt Fraction. What I really like about November is it is basically a crime noir story, but about all of the characters that are at the edges of a crime noir story. There's something hard happening at the core of this, but this is about all the people around it that are affected by the harshness that takes place in it. With some gorgeous hand lettering. Everything that was done in the book was something different, a different taste, a different flavor than a lot of them we're used to working with. And it is beautiful, gorgeous, and like a solid piece of who I am. I really love that series. Up next, Shiver Suspense Stories. It is a holiday horror anthology from the fine folks at Oni Press and EC Comics. You get a bevy of creators here, including Jason Aaron, Johnny Craig, Hunter Goranson, Kano, Peter Krause, David Lapham. Just a bevy of wonderful folks who add some spookiness to the holiday season. Now, the Johnny Craig thing is a reprint because that boy dead. But if you like the EC Comics horror style, want a little bit of a Christmas flair, you can even get your spook on with a drawing on one of these. Get some spooky holiday in y'all. We've got the nice one, nice holiday with Through the Boughs, and then we've got the spookums and kind of terrifying bits with the EC Comics era. All right. Also this week we have Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger. This is from ye old Todd McFarlane. He of Spawn fame. He is doing so much Spawn stories. Gunslinger Spawn is in our modern world in his series, but Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger takes place back in ye oldie West. So you get your Spawn flavors, but with Western tinge to it. Jimmy Palmiotti is the writer, and Patrick Reynolds is doing the art. He does this cover, and the interiors are definitely very atmospheric as well. We also have Parliament of Rooks. This is a book that was put out through Comixology as available online. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can read this baby for free if you look it up. It loops in with Audible right now, I believe. Kindle. Audible is also Amazon. As with all of the Comixology titles, which there are many, this is a beautiful book from Richard Starkings, who is actually responsible for modern lettering, was one of the first people to do computerized lettering and to develop fonts based on that. So, the first issue of this baby in a print. After waking from a strange dream, architect Darius Ravenscar makes plans to head to the city of Ebervik to show the princess the designs she had commissioned. However, at the masquerade ball, it becomes clear that something has gone terribly wrong. Ablaze is proud to present this Eisner-nominated, like me, gothic horror, like me, for the first time in print. That's what people think of when they look at me. Boy, that Brandon sure is a gothic horror. Still digging through things that were supposed to be in store last week, because Diamond is terrible. We have In Bloom from Michael Conrad and John Pearson. I am very excited to read through this because John Pearson is one of the more exciting creators today, doing very interesting things with his colors and layouts and whatnot. Does a good spook. 43% of cells within a human body belong to something other than the human host. Microbiomes, invasive bacteria, fungal and viral agents, and something else, something more. When the bloom happened, humanity was changed forever, transformed by symbiotic fungal megasystems that infected their bodies. Some affected people grew new body parts, and some found their personalities changed in radical new ways, while others reported contact with some other intelligence not their own. In this revelatory new world, Agent Spears finds herself investigating a series of mysterious murders, a chain of violence that leads her to a terrifying question on which the fate of every living being rests. Visionary creator Michael Conrad and Eisner Award-winning illustrator, not like me, John J. Pearson present a boundary-pushing science fiction saga evocative of The Last of Us, Blade Runner, and Annihilation. Is that all last week's stuff? That's all of last week's stuff. Let's get to some more new stuff this week. It's the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, from the Loki TV show. They got their own series now with characters from all different parts of the Marvel multiverse, all kinds of different flavors coming together here. And yeah, we've got Catherine Blair and Pere Perez popping in here to smash these characters together. Pere Perez is a good pick. I love that artist. It is Mother Monsters, baby. It is the next in the Horizon experiment, where a lot of different creators take on a lot of different concepts. And these are sort of like little pilots, basically, before potential series happen. I like that they kind of like do a little bit of genre bending in throughout these, sort of like the Asian-based James Bond story, or the more Middle East flavored John Constantine story. You have like sort of a lot of different ideas at play here. And here in Mother Monsters, we have esteemed TV writer Jay Holtham from The Handmaid's Tale and Marvel's Jessica Jones teams up with indie cartoonist Michael Lee Harris to present An Evil Dead for Black Nerds, a modern spin on the action-packed horror comedy for fans of Bitterroot and Chew. Now, I know I've talked about this before, but the Horizon experiment, while I love the execution of the books, these are told as TV pitches. There's no why to the books that are being presented, only the what. And to really identify with a book, for me to help sell a book, I need a why. So what is Mother Monsters about? You've got the pitch of Evil Dead for Black Nerds, modern action horror comedy. There's a lot of flavors in there, but there needs to be a connection. This is the difference between me pitching to someone who's going to read the book and me pitching to someone who might want the concept to be something else. And as much as I love these stories, I almost guarantee I'm going to love this book because the curator behind it, Porcel Pinochet, is outstanding. There's not been a comics project that he has had his fingers in that have been bad. They're so good. His Infidel comic that he did with Aaron Campbell is my go-to recommendation for horror comics. The way that it engages with, it's sort of like a Get Out style story, but with more 9/11 connotations about just people living with their fears and this manifestation of them that comes about, the ugliness that can emerge from darkness. It's an amazing story. And so he's bringing that touch to these books in the curation, but the actual pitches are just pitches. We can do better. Anyways, this is going to be fun. I know it's going to be fun. It looks fun. The curation is on point. I just really wish that at the end of the day, I wish that my job was easier to pitch this. I have to do a lot of legwork myself. Ba ba beep ba ba boom. There's a new company operating under Image called Ninth Circle. They are doing a very distillery style presentation with magazine styles, but they're doing one-shot stuff in much of the way that the Horizon experiment is, and hence the placement of Freddy the Fix. This is a one-shot from Garth Ennis, so I know a lot of Ennis folks out there are going to get a little treat that they might not know about, and art from Mike Perkins, who's done a lot of amazing stuff lately, like Batman First Night and the latest Swamp Thing with Ram V. Garth Ennis is the creator of The Boys and Preacher, which you might know from television, or some of the biggest runs of comics in the past few years. Hollywood After Dark. Werewolves, vampires, zombies, aliens, boogeyman, predators, and things. They all have their kinks, and they all get in the deep They all have their own kinks, and they all get in deep not in the anyways. When they do, they call Freddy to fix it. A horror-skewed intersection of The Boys and Ray Donovan, and the debut of Offering of Ninth Circle, the creator-owned, creator-driven horror showcase of standalone bone-chilling tales of terror and mayhem. Ram V is part of this line, which honestly gets mega bonus points from me. I would like better graphic design. Because, no offense, I can do better graphic design than this. This is going to be a good story. I know sometimes I talk negative about stuff. I really want to kind of like stay on focus and whatnot, but part of why a lot of folks do check out the show and a lot of what I talk about when I'm doing my writing is not just sort of like, here's a great thing. It's here's a great thing, and here's how we could make these things better. And some of it is just a slicker sense of design. That's what Distillery has. They've hired a graphic designer. It actually works out quite well. When you have little bits that don't kind of sit well, if I'm not hand selling this, and I'm going to hand sell the heck out of this because I know exactly who's going to like this, it's a tougher fix because you don't have the grip, you don't have the ease. There's some bits that kind of take away in presentation, and you need that slickness. You need to remove that barrier so that people can just maybe more easily pop open the book, really get into the things, that sort of thing. We are getting to the graphic novel portion of this evening. And to start out with, it is Adventure Man. I'm so excited for this to be in a nice, affordable, soft cover edition. It is from one of my absolute favorites, Matt Fraction, and art by Terry Dodson. I love this series so much. It basically takes all of the tropes of like a Doc Savage pulp adventure series and takes a lot of the more racially insensitive elements and modernizes all of it into a brilliant story for today. The story of Adventure Man, the greatest pulp hero of all time, ended in a heartbreaking cliffhanger with our hero facing his very execution. Now learn the startling truth about what came next. Decades after his seeming demise, the world has all but forgotten Adventure Man, save for single mother Claire and her Adventure Man son, Adventure fan son, Tommy. Together, they'll light the spark of Adventure Man's resurrection. But if the good guys are coming back, you can bet the bad guys aren't far behind. And now, some fresh manga to talk about. I'm very excited about these for very different reasons. We've got Manhole. A haggard, naked man walks down a busy road into the town of Sasahara. Out of nowhere, he collapses, struck down by filiorasis, tormented by a parasite that's as baffling as it is deadly. This is only the start of an epidemic that has the potential to wipe out the entire Japanese population. Most people think the disease has natural causes, when in reality, it is part of a disturbing and merciless plot. It's a race against the clock in Manhole, a manga by the great Tetsuya Tsutsui. and Eden of Witches. These books come with not French flaps, but soft cover flaps, which I think is really cool. In a world forsaken by nature, only witches can save humanity. Long ago, plants and animals lived in harmony until the humans arrived. Unable to coexist with other species, humans mercilessly destroyed everything in their path, forcing fauna and flora to go into hiding. And for hundreds of years, the world has been nothing but a vast barren desert. But luckily, a few pockets of nature still exist, sanctuaries of witches, extraordinary women who can hear the call of the plants. Despite their abilities, humans despise witches and blame them for all of the disappearance of nature. As it turns out, a young witch named Pili grew up in one of these sanctuaries. Raised by the powerful witch Tora, Pili tries to develop her powers, but nothing seems to work. Tora then gives Pili a seed to encourage her. She says that it will one day lead Pili to Eden, a lavish garden reserved for elite witches. As an apprentice, Pili has no desire to leave Tora and her house, but everything falls apart when armed men invade the sanctuary. Faced with the bloody massacre of her own home, Pili loses all hope, until suddenly Tora's seed gives life to an enormous wolf plant hybrid creature. Now it comes down to this. Can the wolf guide Pili to the land of the chosen ones? This book looks absolutely gorgeous, and I'm very excited. It's part of the new line from Abram Books, Kana Manga, where they're really digging through and finding some very interesting stuff. This is also part of Kana that they did, finding very interesting concepts that you're not finding generally in comics. Now, this one is a bit of an older one, but one that I'm super excited to dig into. We have Hakume and Nikoshi. This is basically a simple story of deep within a lush green forest, live Hakume and Nikoshi, making their home in the trees and using leaves for umbrellas and riding bugs for transportation. It's just part of everyday life for these tiny pals. It's just small folks living small lives, living in a little fantasy world and doing their best. And yeah, I'm very excited about that. Did you stop music? Why would you stop music? You're being rude. It's not the time to be rude. We're almost through. Music's being rude. Everything's going haywire tonight. And finally, we have All Princesses Die Before Dawn. This book is absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to actually read through. This was awarded the Special Youth Jury Prize at the Angoulême International Festival of Comics. This is the biggest festival in Europe for comics. It is a huge culture over there. Like where you see advertising for movies here, you'll see the same kind of advertising for a lot of volumes over there in France, in their train stations, everywhere. They've got little shops where the biggest books are out. It's absolutely amazing. All Princesses Die Before Dawn, August 31st, 1997. In the bathroom of his home in the French suburb, 8-year-old Lulu is trying on his mom's lipstick. He dreams of kissing his best friend, a neighborhood boy. Meanwhile, his teenage sister Cam covers her much older boyfriend sneaking into her bedroom by blasting the latest summer hits. In the kitchen, their mother is waiting for their father, who didn't come home last night. On TV, newscasters are announcing the death of Princess Diana. 3 love stories, from budding desire to fading passion, play out within one family on a late summer's day, a day that will change their lives forever. Yeah. All right. Judge Holden says no Marvel in final FOC this week, final order cutoff. That is correct. You will not be seeing Marvel in the final order cutoffs, both for this week and next week. I believe DC is the same. Why did the music stop? There should be no reason for this. Ugh, angry. Because Marvel and DC traditionally take off the last 2 weeks of the year. Everything's closed there. and everything has been sent off to the printer ahead of time, which is to say that Marvel's latest FOC had books that were solicited 7 weeks out, and normally we're doing final order cutoffs for books that are about 3.5 weeks out. So this is that time of year where they all take a little breaky, and I get a little breaky in a lot of ways because I don't have to spend hours and hours ordering, just a little bit. So yeah. All right. That's going to do it. Our music's gone, and soon so am I. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're all having a great evening. Well, I figured out what happened with the music. Some idiot pressed a button. That idiot was me. Sigh. All right. I'm going to make myself some actual food. I tried to make myself a little snack today with noodles, and it went absolutely haywire. I made noodles that tasted somewhat like licorice somehow. A haphazard series of events that I recounted to my girlfriend, and she had some thoughts, some accurate thoughts about how I should probably not be in charge of seasoning dishes. I am a recipes boy. A lot of times I'll taste a recipe and know kind of the flavors that it might need, but I won't exactly know how to get those. And if I'm just taking a guess at a start of a recipe, oh, no, friend. Speaking about my girlfriend, this week I'm pretty sure, or at some point next week, we're probably going to do an impromptu culture exchange. I have never seen A Christmas Story, or The Christmas Story, A Christmas Story, The Christmas Story. I promise I'm not being facetious in this moment. I literally can't remember which one it's called. Never seen it in my life. The one where he's gonna, watch out, kid, you'll shoot your eye out. That thing. I haven't seen it. That was a shocker. That was not okay. And I completely understand why. Because it's such a part of pop culture. I've sold a leg lamp before because it was part of that movie. At one of my old stores that I worked at. And she's never heard the Vinyl Cafe's Dave Cooks a Turkey. These, I think, were both part of our Christmases growing up. And it definitely is something that I want to share. I want to share my thing with her. I want her to share her thing with me. Make it a fun little Christmas thing. So that's going to happen over the next little while. I'll tell you how that goes. And yeah, next week is Christmas Eve. I don't think there's going to be a show on Christmas Eve. Why y'all going to be watching this show on Christmas Eve? There will be a little something at least on the 31st, I'm pretty sure, because I want to kind of talk about maybe some of the best things of the year. It might be pre-recorded, might put that out. And but I still want to talk about comics, so definitely check out our social media. We're going to have some cool videos happening over the next few weeks. And because I'm doing socials better now, got some videos out. So definitely check that out. We're on the TikTok, doing some things there. Definitely posting more on Facebook, Instagram. We are not posting on Twitter anymore because Twitter. Yeah. Into the sun. And yeah, that's going to happen. All right. I'm going to call it a day. Thank you all for hanging out here. I'm going to talk with y'all soon enough. And I hope that you're all doing well and that my brain keeps functioning for me to read these books tonight. All right. You beauties, you cuties, you wonderful, wonderful people. It has been a slice. Thank you all for watching, and we will talk to you all again soon. Bye.